Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. And yes, this is race 3 of the Augusta training series. And coming into this race, I didn't really know how well I was going to do. I had a lot of miles in my legs. As you know, it was Memorial Day weekend. I rode in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Saturday I did 65 miles with 3,000 feet of climbing. And then I did some crit practice with my buddies the day before this race and drove 5 hours back to New York. And then the prior Thursday, I was trying to set some PRs. I did set some PRs on the local Strava segment. So I had a lot of hard work in my legs, and I think the training volume was just a bit much. However, I did manage to do okay in this race, and I still improved in spite of having all that volume. I did eventually get dropped in this race, but it was about 25 minutes into the race, so about half the distance. I'm very pleased with that considering. My heart rate is okay. It was sustained about 170 beats per minute to 175. It only pegged 180 beats periodically. And I'm able to recover into the 160s if I can just position myself properly in the draft and work on those tactics. Other than that, you know, just some tired legs, but still managed to put in some good work here. I won't show in this particular clip when I got back in after getting dropped, because you're allowed to do that in this training series. You know, they do allow you to get the work, but I did drop and then I jumped back in when they came around for about 2 or 3 more laps. If you guys want to see those laps, I will post them. Now we're here in the first lap, and as you can see, I'm about to employ that strategy I talked about last week, about going to the front of the peloton, if you will, before we get to that punchy climb in the back. And as you can see, I'm doing it now. I'm inching my way up to the front. I'll eventually get there, and then I'm gonna take that turn into the climb at approximately 20 miles an hour. And this is what I would need to do lap after lap after lap after lap after lap. And what would typically happen is that the field would come around me by the time I get to the top of this climb. Now this first lap I carried so much entry speed that they didn't really catch me on the climb. But late in the race, you know, with tired legs, they'll eventually pass me, you know, towards the top of the climb, and I'll be towards the back of the group. And then what you want to do is work your way to the front, lap after lap after lap, you know, as a bigger rider. And so this clearly works, and it's something that I'll continue to do as I continue to build fitness for future races. So we're coming up here on the first turn, and I figured out what the ideal line is. You want to be towards the outside of it, because on the inside of that turn, there's a steep little gradient that will kill some of your drive speed. As you can see, I stayed towards the outside, and I didn't get popped off when I came out of that turn. And usually with course knowledge, I mean, that comes with time. You know, the more you ride a place, you learn the nuances of the course. Here, the outside line is also the faster line, because what happens is when you cut over out of this chicane, you have the inside line, and you can get on your power, and you can get a really fast drive out. Most guys will take that inside line heading into the chicane, and then they get pushed wide and they lose their momentum. Like you can see the guys behind me in this clip, you know, a little gap is formed. You want to take the outside line heading into it, so that way you have the inside line coming out of it. So here I go again, back to the front for this climb, and by now I'm starting to feel it just a little bit at the pace that we're running. So you're going to see the guys probably start to come around me as I get to the top of this climb. And this is how it's supposed to work. See, the strong guys will overtake you, and you'll still be towards the front of the pack when it works perfectly. Watch what happens again. And actually, on the next lap, I don't even think I made it to the front because I was really starting to get that lactic acid buildup. But basically, this is what you want to do when you're bigger. Short, punchy climbs, start them at the front. Long climbs, start them at the front as well, but pace yourself, ride off of your power, stay at your threshold, and try not to get popped off the back before you hit the top of it. This seems to be working for me here, and so as I continue to build fitness, I'll continue to use that. Also for that climb, you also want to be on the ideal line for that is to apex it. Start from the outside. At the actual corner, you want to be on the inside, and you want to finish the corner on the outside. Unfortunately, that's not always possible when you're in a pack. But when you're at the front, you also get the line choice. And so one of the benefits of being towards the front is that you get the line choice, and you can carry so much momentum up that climb, which is what you want to do, because it's a 7% climb, even though it's short, and it can really crack you if you're not careful. So there's an attack up the field here, and it's way too early in the race for this. It's an hour-long race, and no attack, to my knowledge, in this race sticked or stuck. Or I should say, no attack that came early in the race stuck. And, you'd have to have massive power. You'd have to be able to time trial for an hour. And I don't think, I can't speak for everyone, but it didn't appear for me that in this field anyone had that kind of power where they could ride away from the field for an entire hour. This was a pretty strong field. Everyone here is definitely strong. So if you're going to break away, you really got to have some serious power. You need to be able to push 350 to 400 watts for however long you're trying to break away, I think. spending a bit too much time in the wind here. I moved over to the right. I wasn't going to chase that rider down, but then Antonio on the Cannondale attacked, and quite a few followed, and I didn't want to get dropped here. And I have to be honest, this effort really hurt me. We had to close this gap down because we didn't know if it was going to stick, and I don't know how many watts I was putting out. I'm having some issues with the data overlay, but it was quite a few. It might have been about 800 watts. This took a lot out of me, but we were able to get it closed and catch back up. I want you to take note of the perfect line that Steve takes on the Trek Madone right here. That was the perfect line through that corner. I don't even think he pedaled up that climb. And that's how you got it. If you ever want to know how to get up that climb in the back, rewind this video and watch what he just did. That was a clinic on how to take that climb in the back.
Anyway.
So my race is pretty much about to come to an end here. Unfortunately, this is the spot, not this hill, but after the start finish, I finally get dropped. And I just think the volume caught up with me. My heart rate was okay. It's about 175 right now, 171 to 175. I make it up this climb, and I think my problem really was mental. I think I just didn't really want to be on a bike anymore after such a long weekend. Um, and it was really frustrating because when I watched this entire video, once they got away from me, they slowed down. So if I would have dug deep, I would have been able to take an entire lap with the group and rest up. It was the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced on a bike. I cracked, and then literally they just started cruising. Um, but that's the way it goes. So now we know for next time. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. And I will post the other half of this, well, not the other half, but the other two laps to this video where I joined back on. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.